And let me drop the session notes for the new folks. All right, cool. Let's get started. All right, let's just go through over our highlight reel first. We'll go over our poll data as a group. We'll look at American Association of Individual Investor sentiment data as well to compare. We got an awesome SVOG meeting coming up on the 20th on Saturday in a week and a half, roughly, and we'll look at that. Lots of idiots of the week. We have a Navy commander on the USS John McCain that shot off a rifle with the optic mounted backwards. The foreign grip is way too close, and I don't know what kind of shoulder mount this garbage is. It's right on the bicep instead of the shoulder or chest. So clearly, he is not rifle qualified whatsoever. Um, so yeah, we're in trouble with the Navy. Damn squids. What else? There was a psycho $50 million wager that was placed on the CPI print that went upside down really badly. So we'll look at this idiot um, in just a bit. And here's a premonition from the Goldman Sachs trading desk, which I thought was interesting. No idiots yet, but I thought we should leave it here. And then got some fun Wall Street bets, psycho activity here. This guy made a good meme. This guy went long right before the CPI print. Oh my God. Bye bye Wall Street bets. And then some other losers that took very at the money price points and things went haywire quickly. So we'll look at those idiots of the week, of course, and then we'll continue with our index overview and look at the fun stuff there. We'll look at the Fear and Greed Index, which has moved quite a bit. And of course, we'll look at the Traders Almanac. We got April, we got May here, so fix that from last week. We'll definitely look at sector rotation data for the subsectors of the S&P 500 and any individual tickers you guys want to throw your money at here. And then earnings season, thank God, is finally restarted. And we got the domestic financials, the members of the XLF team kicking off this week. So we got fun stuff tomorrow. We'll look at swaggy stocks and what the retail fish are looking at. And then we'll get into our news cycle. Lots of insane news this week. I don't even know where to start, but we'll definitely look at the PPI, the CPI, and FOMC commentary. And this week was kind of interesting foreshadowing for November. So we'll take a look at that. And yeah, the Fed is all over the place. Everyone thought it was going to be a rate cut city, but looks like those dovish dreams have been squashed pretty good. So we'll look at
No,
what this means for
nobody did believe this. Then the media told everybody. It's
maybe.
right there on the dot plot, and the dot plot hasn't changed. I mean, let's be serious. Anybody who's watching closely knows.
Yeah. Cool.
It's fun to watch the graphs, though.
Yeah. And I don't think we've had any updates to our Black Swan list. I think it's still fairly thorough. We can mark this black now that it's a little stale. And then Theaters of War, let me think. Has anything else been added? The current reigning Hamas guy got his kids and grandkids wiped out in a missile strike from Israel. I think that's not good, but um, yeah, what else?
Well, the scare of Iran, Israel.
Yeah, we'll talk about um, that and the virtue or non-virtue of attacking embassies. Yeah, that's not going to work out very nicely. So yes, we have lots of theaters of war, and hotspots on the globe exceed points on the VIX. So yes, that is real. And where are we on the emoji guide to investing? It depends if you're in gold, crypto, or Nvidia, right? Everyone's journey is a little different. All right. And then pivoting to toilet paper, lots of fun stuff. We'll look at some some thoughts on treasuries. We'll look at the ECB and what the euro has been doing against the US dollar. We'll look at US debt, which is now not 1 trillion, but 1.1. And we got a nothing burger out of the Bank of Canada, of course. So we'll take a look at that. What else do we have fun? Oh, this was interesting on Tuesday. Amex and Goldman changed their online savings account yield. So it was adjusted down about 10 basis points, which was kind of interesting. So a lot of folks were overreacting to this, and oh no, rate cut imminent. Yeah, those dovish thoughts disappeared quickly. But I thought it was interesting that this bubbled up. So we'll look at that. Lots of domestic news, of course. I think it's time to retire our Hertz Tesla Model 3 tracking, but we'll maybe take a look at this one last time. And we've been tracking this together since I think January 18th was the first screenshot.
A
Uh,
comment?
comment?
Bloomberg has a fantastic article this month about the Hertz Tesla screw up and all the Hertz management screw ups as opposed to the meme stock side of it.
Oh, okay. Can you dig that article up? I'd love to look at it together. If someone can maybe try to find that. Okay. But yeah, we'll take a final glance at this. Got some interesting ratepayer information for us California folks on your PG&E bill. Uh, Mr. Hairgel wants to make it based on your income and ability to pay. Um, can Gavin just come out and say it? Like, just come out and say it. I hate white people. I work for Beijing, and I'm gonna grind all the productive people in California into dust. So just come out and say it. Uh, so yeah. Anyway, there have been more experiments with San Francisco specifically, and we'll look at that. And this is a throwback to ocean sea spray in the 1950s, if you guys didn't know about this. So we've all been guinea pigs for Uncle Sam for a while. So I'll show you guys that. Um, this Sean Diddy Combs Puff Daddy fiasco is blowing up really fast. It seems like he is right adjacent to Jeffrey Epstein with bugged rooms and blackmail material for princes, kings, rulers, and all kinds of moguls. So yeah, kind of suspicious. And what else? Speaking of suspicious, there was almost another boat crashing in the New York City harbor and miraculously was saved, but required some 6 tugboats to move back into position. That's not suspicious at all. What else? FAA is also launching a new probe into Boeing, and Boeing is seeing no relief in sight. So well deserved here. There's some chaos in the budget frugality sector of the economy, and Dollar Tree now has $7 items, and the 99-cent only store has shut down. They've shut down 371 locations, citing inflation and theft as the main culprits. So we'll look at both. And then Jamie Dimon's warning suspiciously that the current market risks eclipse anything since World War II. But he doesn't know anything, but he's just making statements for no reason right before earnings for the US domestic banks. He thinks we're that dumb, but sure. Uh, we'll look at the insurance game for a second, and your shady underwriters are sending aerial drones to figure out reasons to disqualify you. And yeah, maybe double check your homeowner's insurance and start scouting for backup carriers, since a lot of insurers are just dumping California due to higher replacement costs and just unprofitability in general. But yeah, be careful with that.
And
Uh,
that's in addition to paying all the automakers for the data on your driving.
oh yeah, yeah. And your Bluetooth phone connections on in your phone, sorry, in your car are not secure, by the way. So um don't do not discuss Iranian secrets in your Tesla because your car is listening to you. All right. Got some
So
more
watching where you're going.
and that too, yeah. Uh, we got fun real estate news that we'll look at for affordability. We'll take a closer look at the updated LA mansion tax, which is could happen to a nicer group of people. So we'll look at those limitations. Blackstone is finally making some moves and is splurging in the multifamily sector, which was my sort of property manager life before trading, I guess. So this is quite interesting. And it seems like their final game plan is obvious. So they're going to buy up single family homes and multi-units and house illegals inside them. It seems pretty straightforward now. And they've launched a couple of pilot programs in different regions of the nation. But yeah, we'll talk more about this in just a second. Pivoting to engineering news, here is a nice chart that Ross shared with us a bit ago. But yes, NVIDIA is now at near 1,000-ish. And um, we'll take a look at the NVIDIA bubble stalling and how that's been keeping the market alive for the last month or so. But we'll see if this can carry on any more forward momentum. Meanwhile, we got some updated news from India for Apple and Foxconn's operations. So we'll look at that. And was talking to Larry a bit about this this week. But yeah, we'll look at TSM's expansion into Arizona with its third proposed factory there. And again, why Arizona with its water challenges? I'm very confused, but we'll take a look at this. Meanwhile, going to labor news, looks like the Mercedes plant in Tuscaloosa wants to join the UAW. So say hello to more expensive C-class benzos. Um, yeah, so that's coming down the pipeline. And then lots of international news, of course. Iran is super pissed and calling for action against Israel. Biden's promising ironclad support against Iran and walking back peace talks. Here's the Hamas leader who lost his sons and grandkids. Yeah, that's not going to be good for business. And then for once, German troops are potentially looking to be deployed, and they're going to be marching steadily into uh, the meat grinder itself, which is the Ukraine. And that's not good. And interestingly enough, Germany and Japan are major vassal states of the US empire, and both are making moves. So we'll take a look at the German side here, but I'll report the on the China side, there's some Japanese stuff. But yeah, um, meanwhile, uh, the Ukrainian side, I mean, they've been losing for a long time. So they've been expanding the conscription rates for younger and older. And even the Russians have been forced to do that as well, since they're not exactly, they don't have infinite manpower either. But yeah, folks have been trying to have been dodging a draft with Ukrainian cripples. And could this happen in America? Um, looking at Gen Z and how desperate and wimpy they are, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, uh, keep that one-legged Annie on speed dial in case Biden launches the draft. All right, and here's the one of the Japanese pieces. So Japan has been changing their narrative quite a bit. And if you recall, Miss Japan was a Ukrainian woman, blonde Ukrainian that spoke Japanese, and in true Japanese fashion, was also caught sleeping with one of the judges. But yeah, and now Japan looks like this is obviously not from Japanese leadership. This is from higher sources, the higher puppet masters that killed Shinzo. But yes, they want to start mass foreign immigration to save Japan and their low birth rate. Yeah, that's not going to work out very well. Yeah, so we'll talk about that in just a bit. Pivoting to oil news, the largest U.S. oil refinery has just shut down mysteriously. So that's wonderful. Pump prices have been increasing, as I'm sure you guys have noticed. We'll look at that. And pivoting to gold news, got some interesting figures for the Rolex market. So we'll take a look at um, the was it the Bloomberg's the watch index they have, the top 50 the top 50 automatics. But yeah, we'll take a look at that. Zimbabwe has launched a new gold-backed currency. How long this will last is very questionable. So we'll take a look at this. Just nothing but but chaos from this market. But yeah, we'll take a look at that. Costco has been making major waves with their gold sales. It's been a big deal, and Walmart has been copying them as well. And I'm sure, I mean, there's been no news from them yet on this, but I'm sure it's pacing Costco's progress very closely. And then, not to be left out in the cold, China now wants to start a crypto ETF, just like in the U.S. markets. And I'm wondering who gave the Chinese this genius idea? Was it Janet Yellen, who was just there? Possibly. And then pivoting to Chinese news, lots of chaos all across the board. The banking sector is imploding in China. In fact, they're clawing back uh, workers' wages depending on which firm you work for. Like if you work for what you call it, the giant shadow bank, was it Zongzi, I think? They're asking for every position except janitors and door staff to return their wages, which is insane. And if you don't return your wages, there's criminal proceedings. So that's happening, and folks are selling their homes to not go to jail. It is insane. And we reported before that China's having a gold run of its own, and gold shops have been disappearing overnight with their clients' funds. And now, to combat this, Beijing has launched a China gold registration database to prevent the black market and to help users, uh, register their gold. So that's hilarious. But that did launch this month. And then looks like Xi Jinping is aligning with Russia overall, despite Yellen flying over to chew him out. And it was a big nothing burger. Janet Yellen just said, we can't have another China shock, which was she's equating the first China shock as when China started dumping cheap manufactured goods upon their entrance into the WTO in the late 90s. So I don't know why she's bringing up 30-year-old history, but she said, don't do it again. So I don't know what like what the hell she's talking about. But yeah. And then China's getting pissed overall with the US, and they're buying more shit in Brazil because they're getting pushback because maybe we shouldn't sell productive, fertile farmlands to our sworn enemies, something like that. But yeah. And then, as we mentioned, crypto ETFs. So more money will be funneled there and it will disappear. And then it's come out that China did pay their own form of crisis actors. And this is only the beginning, I'm sure. Um, but yeah, here is the shadow banking firm that I talked about, where workers have to return their wages. And I couldn't find any US outlets that were carrying the story. I just saw it on Chinese news, but I'm sure it'll bubble up in time. But yeah, so that's the majority of it. But yeah, lots of chaos, just announcement heavy week.
I,
And
I did see a YouTube talking about the shadow backing and clawback.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, like Reuters hasn't covered it, AP, there's no like Western outlets, but yeah, I'm sure it'll pop up soon.
Yep, got it.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let me double check the chat. Any newcomers? No? Okay, cool. Let's start with our poll. Would love to get everyone's estimation of where do you think the S&P 500 will go by next Thursday in a week. So vote on your screen now, and we'll see how this compares against the American Association of Individual Investors. All right. But yeah, I'm excited. It's Christmas season, guys. We got earnings, and should be exciting. All right. Let me show you guys the poll results. We got 40% on bullish and 60% on sideways, and we have no bears today. Okay. Excellent day. Let's pivot to our voting cohort here with the American Association of Individual Investors. And looks like this week is a little bit less bullish than last week and the week before. Uh, the swing voters, as it were, have expanded, and the amount of bears just roughly up a little bit. So yeah, a little bit more fear in the marketplace. That's good to see. Okay, and let's pivot to our SVOG announcements. All right, we have, let's see, a brief write-up. I think Dennis is working on this, but yes, our meeting coming up on April 20th on Saturday is going to look at trading risk, and we'll concentrate on understanding what makes for an effective risk management strategy. Carl will show us significant risk management, or how significant risk management is in achieving consistent trading results. Analysis of various methods will help identify what is most effective and applicable to your trading style. Okay. We'll have more details in time, but so that's coming up on the 20th. Cool. And first idiot of the week. Let's look at this guy. Um, and again, I am so ashamed that this human being even exists. So if you don't know about John McCain, let me back up a little bit. And oh, this is about his dad. Okay, okay. Um, okay. Uh, let me pull up John McCain. Is it Junior? I guess the third. Okay, he's the third. All right. This moron. Um, okay, let me get to his scandal. Where is his scandal? Okay. He killed like 20 sailors, and his dad, who was a effing admiral, covered it up. It used to be on his Wikipedia page. Looks like it's not. Okay. We're gonna have to dive a little deeper. Okay. Reckless, subpar flyer who was at times careless and reckless, blah, 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 blah. Wait, he killed a bunch of sailors. Where is that? Um, oh, here we go. Here we go. He was lieutenant commander when he was near the center of the USS Forrestal fire. He escaped from his burning jet and was trying to help another pilot when a bomb exploded. Uh, was this it? No, there was something else. He killed a bunch of, I don't think this was it. Okay.
American sailors or foreign sailors?
Oh, no, no, his own. Like he had an accident on a carrier and like killed like 30 sailors. And his dad covered it up because his dad's an admiral. Uh, I don't have time for this, but yeah, John McCain, certified rhino and neocon. So I'm not sure from Warren's book of hate for Republicans. I'm not sure who I hate more, this guy or Alexander Hamilton for starting the Third National Bank. I'm not sure, but it's up there. Okay. Anyway, on this stupid ship, which commanding officer was this guy? Commander Cameron Yates. He held the rifle, yeah. It's mounted incorrectly. Some guy's reassuring him to not fuck up. And yeah, brass is flying, and the optic is mounted backwards. The forend is mounted too close. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on in this picture. But yeah, someone, and this was removed off the internet. So yeah.
So,
Uh,
I was thinking that his men probably set him up instead of fragging him.
yeah. I mean, but you're
He's an idiot, though.
yeah, you're commanding, a prize vessel of the US Navy. You would think you'd have a little bit of firearms experience, with a basic, AR platform rifle. I mean, I don't know, but we're in trouble, guys. We're in trouble. But between all of the, I guess, our Joint Chief of Staffs, isn't sure if he's putting on a pantsuit or a skirt in the morning. So, I mean, we got all kinds of problems in the US. All right. So that's idiot of the week one. Let's go to number two. This is more trading centric. But yes, somebody gambled tens of millions of dollars on uh, uh, a uh, a dovish CPI print, which obviously didn't come, and this person promptly lost a pile of money, and it looks like they were just playing with December 2024 futures. Um, just pure garbage. So yeah, insane, insane. Um,
Wasn't there some leak about the CPI is sent to some
oh yeah, yeah,
elite list?
that's right, that's right. That's right. What's the search term for this? It's the U.S. Bureau of Statistics, right? Labor statistics that was sharing information to what Biden posse? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah, there was some leak. That's right, that's right. Why I didn't grab the article. Let me make a note at
And
least. Leak, yeah.
they tried to cover it up.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
I just posted it, yeah.
Oh, you posted? All right, let's look at it really quick. Thank you. Thank you guys. That's right, that's right. Wall Street group of super users. Guys, they're just laughing at us. Like, oh, wait until the guillotine comes out. Like the pendulum will swing. But yeah. So it looks like yeah, U.S. Bureau of Labor Stats was sharing data with J.P. Morgan, BlackRock, and yeah. Who else? Hedge funds, Bravin Howard, Millennium, Capital Partners, More Capital, High Frequency Economics, Nomura Securities, BNB Paribas.
Everybody but SVOG.
All right, sorry guys. We've been trying to channel all those uh, $10 donations into our own super PAC, but progress has been slow. Yes, everyone and their mom. But yeah. So yeah, that movie Trading Places was more true than just pure comedy. When there's this much money in play, there's just incentives to cheat, I guess. But yeah, it's weird that that one loser obviously got the wrong tip. And, oh my God, how do you recover $50 million? Like you have to be jumping out windows at this point. But yeah. All right. So yes, all kinds of shenanigans. You know what? Let me drop this link in here too. Meanwhile, all right, cool. And here's a nice foreshadowing moment from Goldman. Okay, cool. Another idiot of the week. This is great. So, this is the same $50 million trade, but at the retail level. So, this guy, oh my God. When you make a SPY call option the night before CPI reports higher than expected, and maybe if you're sane like me, you see that there's a pile of FOMC, agenda items and CPI prints and all kinds of chaos, and maybe you're like, you know what? Maybe I won't trade the SPX overnight. You know what? I'll just wait. You won't go broke not trading, but yeah. Let's see. Comments here are very supportive, excellent. Send help. Just switch the leaps. Oh my God. This guy's selling Herbalife out of his trunk. Oh my God. This is great. This yeah. So
Hey
yeah,
Warren, could you put the link in the chat to the
this one, yeah, absolutely. So but yeah, this screenshot is from Interstellar. In case yeah, this is what's his name? The one Texan, Matthew McConaughey. And it's sad that he's all of a sudden like so anti-gun for a Texan. But I guess he's been kept on the CAA inventory just for that purpose. But yeah. Okay. Last idiot of the week. This guy, All right, so here's Michael Scott, the meme. When you take a shit and your calls turn to dust after the market does a sharp reversal in the middle of the day. So again, this is the Robinhood crowd. They're trading on their phones. Their trading office is the bathroom where they have true peace and quiet. They're jotting their trading plans on a back of toilet paper. Like it's just hilarious. But yeah, um, markets move, and if you're really that close to the strike to the at the money price, like you're in trouble. And then I bet you this person, Brendog, has never heard of probability of touch, which might terrify them. But yeah, misery loves company here. So
Are you going to talk about how you're booted off of Reddit or whatever it was?
oh, yeah, I posted this in Discord. Yeah, oops, this together. What was I
That
doing?
was the Robin Hood guys got you, right?
Yeah, the Robinhood moderator got really pissed at me. Or not pissed, but it's not just that like they're they're insufferable cunts, but they mock you. And it's just like people forget that, you know, being a keyboard warrior is one thing, but um like I would like I guess in more traditional moments I would challenge the moderator to a duel, pistols or blades and take your pick. And but yeah, I call these fools out for defending big finance, and I was just talking shit about Robinhood, and yeah, and then the moderators came back. Like, so this is I got muted first, and then I got banned, and I was still talking shit on the way out too, and then another moderator came in to talk more shit. I was just like, do you punks have nothing else to do? And they don't. So yeah, and then I thought this Morpheus quote was kind of appropriate that people will still fight to defend the matrix. And yeah, just Gen Z, like good luck with that out there. But yeah. So yeah, that happened. But it's just me, just Warren being, this is just Warren being stupid. It's kind of like that one, if you guys have seen this before, it's an internet meme, which is someone is wrong on the internet. Actually, da, 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 da. Where is it? Where's the original one? Let's go to Google. Oh, damn it. Oh, thank God. Okay, here's the original meme. Are you coming to bed? I can't. This is important. Someone is wrong on the internet. Oh, this is affected more than just Warren, obviously. But yeah. Cancel my meeting. Someone is wrong on the internet. Yeah. Yeah. And then if you like that, there's another meme which is what was there's like someone wrong on the internet checklist. There's like a memo that I've seen before. Let me find this. Uh, um, let's see it. This is hard to find. That's okay. But yeah, you guys get the idea. Okay. Um, oh, but yeah, so I mean, so yeah, so what went wrong in this trade? This person's buying calls, very short-term options, very at the money, and position sizing rules out the window. So yeah, just crazy cycles. Okay. Again, non-idiocy rules here, and how to be an idiot rules are also included. And I realized, yeah, don't paper trade. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. And we got a few new folks. Let's see who joined. We got Lord Tedders himself, our shadow priest, and who else? I think that's, oh, and Gordon, welcome, welcome. And here's the session notes for the new folks. Cool, awesome. Let's jump to our indexes and let's take a look at the market itself. Cool. Okay. Okay, come on. All right, so here we go. Let's start with the S&P 500. Let's start with the ES futures, the supposed smart money of the S&P 500 family. Yeah, we're kind of having a sideways moment. Um, yeah, looks like it's been like this for a little bit for the last two-ish weeks, maybe almost three. ATR is definitely peaking. We might have a breakout or something. Let's see what else. Strong inflows still for the most part. Let's go to the betting public and see if we see a falling knife at all today. If Swab will play with us nicely here. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Come on. Okay. Let's see. We're seeing 180,000 calls against 450,000, sorry, bullish contracts versus 450,000 bearish contracts. So we're seeing a put call ratio of about 2.493. Fair value is about 1.4. So we might be seeing some short-term hedging. And our deltas are high, but not as high as like 88, 89, 90%, but it is a little bit up there. Okay, so we're seeing some restraint from the supposed smart money. Now let's go to the mother of all trades here, SPX, are big boy option contracts for the S&P 500. Each SPX share is worth 10 shares of the SPY. And this is the second tier of supposed smart money. And let's take a look at the betting public today. All right. Sizzle numbers are still broken, but let's see. Put call ratio about 1.37. That's fair value. Deltas look pretty normal at 66% for the low delta stuff. Yeah, seems about normal, but yeah, this does not have the restraint that the futures group has. So I'd imagine the more retail centric parts of the S&P 500, like the SPY itself, will be a lot more optimistic. So let's take a look. Fair value is also 1.3, 1.4, but I expect this to be south of that. And we see 1.004 right on schedule. Okay. And looks like sizzle numbers are working on this side. Okay, cool. So intelligence does correlate with fear, it looks like. Okay, and let's pivot to our other cousin indexes. And we got to start with the tech side, with the NASDAQ. And looking at the Qs, come on. Come on. Oh, whoops. No, three Qs, not four. Have I ever flopped four queens before? I think once. I think once. This four of a kind is kind of rare. Okay, let's see. NASDAQ. 1.35, fairly fair value there. A lot of optimism. Okay. Let's look at the charts, see how they've been performing. All right. Shout out to NVIDIA for carrying the entire tech scene on the back of their shoulders. Let's see. We're still seeing good inflows, but it is slowing down a little bit. And ATR has been up for a while. It's trying to break out, but not really. Okay. All right. Let's go to our schizophrenic side of the uh, mental asylum here with the Russell 2000. And the Russell 2000 is like your ex-girlfriend off her meds who just will not act right and loves to overreact. Okay, Russell 2000. Here we go. It's been a lot choppier since this is the schizophrenic side of the indexes, but inflows have been increasing. This is distressing because you'd think small cap investors would be a little bit more shrewd, but no, they're buying the dip at all-time highs. This is why the fish are called the fish. But yeah, Okay. And let's go to the analytics. And then we still got the diamonds to look at, which is another retard among the index family. Okay. Let's look at Russell 2000, and it's up 0.69%. Okay, fair value is about 2.3. So 1.777 is actually bullish for the Russell 2000 crowd. And yeah. Yeah, volumes look fairly normal. Okay, so yeah. Looks like there's optimism here where there shouldn't be, but yeah, the herd is always late to the party. Okay. So maybe I should be shorting the Russell. Hmm. Maybe not right away, but it's on my watch list. Okay, cool. Let's look at the diamonds. Diamonds is notoriously the most optimistic. Fair value is 1.000, and today it's 0.834, which is remarkable. And if we go to the analytics, again, this is not the most traded index, relatively speaking, but it looks like it's been giving up a little bit more ground than the other indexes, which is interesting. Okay. And inflows are subdued. It's kind of like the midpoint level, and ATR has been picking up, so it's poised to do something. Maybe. Okay. So something's happening here. So yeah, we have a good divergence of opinions here, and it looks like the only bearish component is really what you call it, the future side of the S&P 500. Okay, so we'll keep our eye on that. And we got to look at the VIX really quick, just to get a sense of insanity. I think it's 13, 14, 15. Oh my gosh. What has happened on this world? It reached as high as 17 for the week. Wow, incredible. 17.45. Okay. Ah, good stuff. All right, let's go back to our notes. What's happening? Oh, Flav is asking if there's been any weird toss issues. Uh, for me, kind of. I'm getting the usual amount of crashes and bugs, but orders rejected.
It's on the back end, so it's not the client. It's coming
Oh,
from them because they switched some stuff on the back end, margin calculations, um, getting weird rejected orders at the end of the day on SPX.
oh, okay. I haven't seen that kind of stuff. Like some of the broken stuff I've seen is like the net liquidity calculator is 0 for past days. I've seen those little errors. Uh, but yeah, I'm sure I anticipate more hiccups all through May and stuff. So that's
It's not they, it's Schwab.
so yeah. Do we have a contingency plan if we have to leave toss at some point? Are we all
Wendy's.
Tradier, um, Tasty?
Yeah, I got both of those.
Yeah. Um, what's happening with the auction? Looks like lowest foreign demand of 2024. Wow. Well, that looks bullish for the stock market.
Well, let me ask a question here with regard to that. So does anybody here do any automated trading? So like say through TradeStation, have any kind of auto trade set up on systems that they've developed or because I'm doing that. I'm trying to get more involved with that. Just as an FYI. So that's yet another platform is TradeStation.
Are you doing option alpha too with Tradier?
No, I haven't done that one yet.
It's been a few years, Kurt, but I used to run quite a few automated algos in TradeStation, but it's probably been 10 years or so. Um, a lot of stuff that's automated requires more work than people think. It's
Right.
not impossible to be automated, but I think it's actually easier to be a discretionary trader.
Oh, okay.
It's an incredible amount of work to keep things from breaking.
Yeah, because your website there, when you went through those classes, that was pretty intensive.
Yeah, that was, I think those recent classes were more discretionary trading. But I did a bunch of automated stuff really back in like the 2010 era, even including like genetic algorithms and adaptive algorithms and things like that. Um, so if you have any questions, let me know. Although my data is probably a little bit out of date at this point, but did a lot with futures in particular.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
It's still and a lot people have their TradeStation complaints, including myself, but it is still a pretty awesome platform for someone who is not a professional coder but wants to automate. I will say that. Like I do think there's just it's a pretty robust system. Like the whole easy language has its imperfections, but it is actually easy to learn. So I give them mad props for that.
I actually agree.
Sounds good.
Easy language is trivial compared to writing C# or a lot of things.
Yeah, and it does a lot of stuff pretty well. I will say that.
Your indexes are, in any case, it's significantly easier than trying to use a real programming language.
Yeah, and you can use scripts and stuff with it. So if you are a C# or I think it's C++ programmer, there's ways to integrate it. Obviously, there's some imperfections there, but it's one of those things for non-coders like myself. It's a godsend.
What kind of commission do they charge?
Again, I'm 10 years out of date at this point on costs and stuff, so you'd have to take a look at yourself.
Yeah, I'm paying
twice what you're used to.
I'm paying 60. I'm paying 65 cents one way in the futures.
65 cents.
That's cheap.
Yeah, plus the fees that they put on top of it.
Yeah.
So it's about 250 round trip kind of thing.
250 round trip.
A little bit less than that, or 125 each way. And
I heard of a Ninja Cater. The Ninja Cater. Have anyone used that?
How do you spell that?
Ninja Trader. Yeah.
Ninja,
Ninja, just like it sounds like. I've used it. Again, there's pros and cons. I don't think it's quite as easy to use. That actually is, I think, a back end of either like C#, I believe, or maybe C++. The automated stuff, it's a little bit more work. So yeah, there's pros and cons to the two different systems. I found as a non-coder the easy language easier to use. And there's also the one thing I will say about the TradeStation forums is, at least at the time, there was a ton of community like support, and like if you needed help coding something up, somebody had probably done it before. So I don't know that that's necessarily true for NinjaTrader. Again, data is probably 10 years out of date at this point.
yeah, but I guess you started off by, if we have to go away from TOS, what would you do, right? And they have TradeStation also has a lot of scanners that you can use as well.
Yes, they do have good scanners. I know a few stocks folks who absolutely loved them. So yeah, it's definitely a viable option. I don't know that anything is going to replace Thinkorswim. I don't know if there's anything that is quite comparable to it, and it's amazing to me that someone isn't going to be picking that up and carrying the torch, because I just think it's an unbelievable platform.
They picked it up. Schwab did. That's why they bought TDA for Thinkorswim.
Okay,
Right,
that's good.
right.
Are they going to continue to support
Yeah,
it though?
they're killing their own old platform to stay with TOS.
Right.
Okay, that's good.
So they're discontinuing a straight smart edge, whatever that was called.
So there's pretty much nothing changed on Thinkorswim, right?
Except for the 17 things that got broken. So
17.
nothing's changed except that now 27. Well, let me count. Yeah, it will take a long time to get it back. Some things may never get fixed again.
Really?
They have to integrate into their own backend system and it's not the same as TDA's backend system. So that's where the problems are going to come from. Margin calculations and order routing and all that.
Well, also the trade desk. I really appreciated the trade desk. At certain times, I had the private phone number that I was allowed to call and just chit chat.
Yeah, they're great.
At like
Really.
3 o'clock in the morning. If you if you talk to the right guys, they'll say, "Oh yeah, you can call me anytime at 3 o'clock in the morning."
Yep, they're really, really great.
Quick quick clarification from Flav. What's GL? Is it
Oh,
like
it's a stock, a global life.
this one, right? Globe Life? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Is it frozen?
Yeah, it's
Down?
halted. It's down half today.
Oh,
What
okay.
do they do? GL?
Insurance.
Oh, insurance.
What,
Wow, down $45.
yeah, which sector do they do? Let's see.
I think
What happened?
life.
What's the news?
So are they going bankrupt?
Maybe they had a policy on on OJ Simpson and he died, so they went bankrupt.
And they couldn't pay it, maybe. Maybe.
The question is,
Uh,
did he get stabbed?
was he in the Bronco? Oh,
Yeah,
uh,
they announced today that he died. So
Yeah, what did he die of? I heard.
cancer.
Oh, okay.
The amount of insanity that's come from that one human being. Like you can blame Kim Kardashian, like the entire Kardashian clan at OJ Simpson's feet. Um, it's just insane. Like that little ripple of the juice has caused so much chaos. Like from the Kardashians to Kanye West to it's just it's unbelievable. But yeah. Um, okay. Let's take a glance at this Globe Life. So they do a lot of people-oriented stuff. So they're not in like the property and casualty game, but life insurance, annuities, and health stuff. So there's always been a big fear of this sector blowing up due to long COVID related items. Since the excess death rate is sky high in all major markets that have been highly compliant to the vaccines and the boosters. So, but yeah, let's see if there's any good news about this. Da, 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 da.
investigation underway.
Alleged securities laws violation. That's always fun. Da, 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 da. Okay. So fraud, I guess. Okay. Um, yeah.
And
Really?
remember the saying, there's never just one cockroach.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Not just one cockroach. Yep, many. Okay. Let's continue with the show. Let's look at the CNN Fear and Greed Index. This composite score we've been watching playing around the 70s and 80s. Now it's 58. That is quite the move. And let's see. Nothing useful from the 125-day average here. 52-week highs versus 52-week lows is still skewed on the high side. Overall, shares rising versus falling is still on the high side as well. But put call ratio is slightly up. I don't think this like I love the put call ratio, and even I think this is a bogus call. Like it's not fear. Fear would be like maybe north of 1.0 because the nuclear events of like COVID, 2019, Fukushima is like 2.0, but zero point 0.9 is a joke or 0.85. This is ridiculous. VIX being high, I could see. This should be fear. Like 16 is really like 30, I think, in today's values. But yeah, this is skewed incorrectly. And I don't think junk bonds is this is kind of disconnected, I think, at the moment from the rest of the market. But yeah, I kind of disagree with this read, but yeah, things are shifting. But yeah. interesting that
You know, that moving average is a lot more valuable than you think it is.
the which one? The McKellen one or the 52 week?
The red line on the top graph.
The 125 MA?
I could trade that in my sleep.
Okay. What do you mean? It's just this duration's interesting because
No, I know. So you put one more moving average and you end up with basically that histogram like a MACD.
yeah, you have to slow and the fast, yeah. But you could say like, S&P is pretty sideways for the last 3 weeks. I don't think anyone would fight you on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Let's go to the almanac. All right. Let's see. All right, let's read April's. All right. And Kurt, if you could recite, no, I'm kidding. April is still the best Dow month,
Yeah, exactly.
averaging 1.9% since 1950. April 99, first month ever to gain 1,000 Dow points, 856 in '01, knocked off its high horse in 2002, up 16 straight years from '06 to 21. April 2020, Dow plus 11%, best April since 1938. This was the kangaroo recovery, so this should be disregarded for all purposes, all intents and purposes. Yeah. Exhibit strength after tax deadline. How many days left? A week? Exhibit strength after tax deadline recent years. Stock anticipate great first quarter earnings by rising sharply before earnings are reported rather than after. Rarely a dangerous month. Recent exceptions are '02, '04, '05, and 22. Best 6 months of the year end with April. And presidential election years, since 1950, the Dow has moved 1.5%, S&P 1.3%, NASDAQ 0.9%, and end of April, NASDAQ strength fades. Okay, got it. And let's take a look at May. All right, May. May, June, disaster area between 65 and 84 with S&P 500 down 15 out of 20 Mays. Between 85 and 97, May was the best month with 13 straight gains, gaining 3.3% per year, up 17, down 9 sessions since. It is also the worst 6 months of the year, beginning with May. A $10,000 investment compounded to 1.18 million gain from November to April in 73 years compared to 3,323 gain from May to October. Dow Memorial Day week record up 12 years in a row, down 16 of the last 28 years. Since 1950 presidential election years, May's ranked number 9 for the Dow, number 9 for S&P, number 8 for NASDAQ. Wait, I'm trying to understand this 10,000 figure. So it's saying sell in May and go away is really valid? Is that the readout for this point? Sell in May, buy back in October? Works better? Or wait. Okay. Like I'm interpreting this right? May sucks. And November to April is great. Okay. I think that's the gist. Okay, cool. All right. Questions, comments? If not, let's go to our stock traders almanac. Sorry, our sector rotation. And I'm not paying for this, but I can still access it. So yeah, we are absolutely gonna hold on to this set of cookies until the end of time. All right. Okay, cool. So this is a nice 5 week tail. Each chunk of the tail is a week. Big tails are big weeks. So oil and energy stocks obviously blown up, real estate collapsing, technology, road money rotating out. The U.S. domestic financials not great, and we'll see how earnings kicks off for this old boys club next week. Industrial's doing okay, and yeah. Uh, yeah. Let's just take one glance at our XLE winning numbers here. Let's just see, who are these folks? MPC, all right. Had a nice happy trade with them. But yeah, lots of oil winners here. Okay, and where's Warren Buffett's favorite? Occidental Oil. Okay, right here. All right, cool. Let me grab this screenshot and put it on our notes in case you guys want to take a closer look at this. And let's drop in our individual tickers. And please feel free to shout them out. And we'll throw them in here. What's missing? SMCI, NVIDIA, sound. Where's our miners? Okay. Anything else you guys want to add in here? Let's see, who's kicking ass? This is slightly stale data from the 8th, but yeah, let's see. Our Chinese 2xer oil and gas, Alphabet, GM, all this fun stuff. MicroStrategy's doing well. Who's not doing well? Mara, Riot, Soundhound, AMD, Supermicro, Intel. Okay. Yeah. Any other tickers you guys want to dump in here? No? If not, we could always come back. Okay. Let me shrink this a little bit. We'll grab a screenshot. Let's add this here. Okay, cool. All right. Excellent. Let's go to earnings. Hopefully you guys had a nice earnings day yesterday. What did we trade? Constellation. These are the Jersey brothers that are absolutely mafia connected that went legit and started buying up a lot of wine and beer and tequila. So that was a good trade. CarMax, I think it reported poor earnings, and Fastenal, I tried to get in, but it was liquidity was pretty bad. But yeah, okay.
Do you pay for this, Warren?
Pardon me?
Do you pay for this tool?
Earnings? No, 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 no. This is
So,
just, this is just yeah, the default earnings one.
okay, because the ones that you post sometimes that has the weekly calendar, I couldn't find where that one was on the free version. So I was
Yeah, yeah.
wondering.
So that's a subscriber only one that I steal off Reddit every now and
Oh,
then.
okay, got
Yeah,
it.
I don't have it. Uh, I mean, technically, I should be logging this, and every quarter is the same order, right? So it's not like it changes. Yeah. But yeah, I'm still maybe I need to make it, but we need a options centric earnings uh website for the non-directional guys. You know, weeklies only, you know, nice and sorted, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah.
I can check. I have a subscription to Option Slam, so I can try there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
if I find something, I'll I can cut and paste it to the group.
Yeah, please do. All right, cool. And then so here's Fridays before market open. So we got XLF leading the wave, JP Morgan, BlackRock, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, Spicy Lemons, one of our newer Reddit guys. He is a banker at the London branch of Citi. I forgot what group he's in, but yeah. What else? Progressive. That's about it. Let's see. Anything else tomorrow close? No. Okay. Cool. So yeah, fun stuff here to work on. All right. So yeah, lots of earning stuff. Yeah. Um, we'll look at earnings maybe as a group towards the end of the show. Since I don't have time to prep the stuff. We'll have to do it live. Okay, cool. And we'll drag Linda and her new US citizenship kicking and screaming to print earnings money. All right. Let's look at the retail.
Congratulations.
Sorry, what's that, Kurt?
Congratulations.
Yeah, yeah. Linda's a U.S. citizen.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, the tax man wants his cut for the rest of your life, and then you're gonna spend boatloads of money to renounce your U.S. citizenship once you get all your money. All right, let's look at the retail fish, and it's nice to see what our counterparty is trading. And yeah, all right. So we got Nvidia. People are looking at PPI stuff. Apple, Tesla, TSM, CPI data, DJT. This has been a garbage stock, by the way, and I hope you guys are squeezing it. I'm a fan, but this stock is trash. So yeah, yeah. Nasdaq, AI buzzwords. What's PAA? Rivian. They lose boatloads of money per unit sold. Meta, Amazon, F and Reddit. JP Morgan, Supermicro, AMD, Oil, Wendy's. What's this? Alcohol? Alk? Robinhood. Gold, BlackBerry, Intel, Inversed VIX. I saw SLV bubble up some point this week. I thought that was kind of interesting. To see SLV on this list is just incredible. But yeah, okay. Looks like it's not showing up, but it was here, I promise. Yeah, SLV is like number 20 here. But yeah, let's see. We can skip the other ones. Okay, let's see. What was the most mentioned for the week? SPY, NVIDIA, Tesla, TSM. Okay. So yeah, the kids are still very focused on NVIDIA and Tesla for some stupid reason. Okay. Got it. Okay, let's jump into our news cycle. All right. Lots of fun stuff. We probably have too many headlines, but we'll fly through this. So PPI data, this is the producer's price index, was garbage. And they were uh, fudging around with the numbers, just like the CPI index, by playing with the seasonally adjusted gas prices. And as you can guess, gas inputs are significant cost components for producers. So to fudge around with this is just playing with the stats. And how many folks was this data leaked to in advance? Your bet is as good as mine. But yeah, we're not going to read too deeply into this garbage, but yeah. But yes, prices have been rising very quickly. So um, yeah, more inflation to stay. And let's look at the reaction to the consumer price index. And this had some political implications. So let's take a quick look. So core inflation figures came in really hot. You know what? Just for comparison's sake, we got to compare with the real figures, which are compiled by Shadow Stats, and they don't repeatedly change the basket of goods. So if we lock it to um, these specific fixed amounts of commodities that go into the basket, then we should be following this blue line, which means the CPI data is probably north of 12%, maybe 13 at its peak, and probably almost 8% at the moment, versus the official figure, which is 4%. And the reason this official figure is lower is they substitute expensive components. Like the theory is, hey, you can eat less ribeye and eat more chicken. So sounds like they're fungible goods, but we're tracking in analytics or tracking a metric here. So it's not beneficial to keep reshuffling this. Okay, so that's the comparison. And let's go to what we saw. Um, let's see. So where's the stats? Okay, so the core figure climbed at the 3-month level to 4.5%. Da, 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 da. And then the commentary was pretty helpful. So let's see. Obviously, this is bad news for Biden. It's only April, and we have another half a year's worth of inflation reports before the election. But we're approaching a point where high inflation is bound to still be in voters' minds when they head to the polls, regardless of how price figures come in over the summer. So yeah, if I'm Biden and I'm his campaign manager, I obviously want a happy summer and a happy fall. If I had to pick between the two, I'd want a happier fall over a happier summer. So we can anticipate a little bit more pain. And who knows if the Hail Marys that Biden's team throws will actually work. And they're talking about more student debt forgiveness, cannabis, like all kinds of dumb things to scare up the voters. But yeah,
You could have another BLM.
yeah. And we're still waiting for black guys to get shot by white guys, right? That always
Yeah,
happens
yeah.
every
There's got to be a first for that one.
spring. But yeah, Dove's streams are crushed. If you notice this screenshot, this is from Lock, Stock, and Smoking Barrels when the idiots are trying to rob the bookies, and the lady says, "No, all bets are off." So yeah, we'll skip a little bit of this. We're running out of time, but yeah, uh, Biden's really begging for some dovish news. Okay. We've got a Black Swan list. Any updates? I guess there's more earthquake activity. Um, and we talked about the Cascadia subduction zone. I think Kurt brought that up last week. So definitely improving our uh, geographical tectonic knowledge here. And what else? I think that's still pretty good. So we should be on the lookout for more earthquakes, volcanoes, and oh, container ships. Duh. Container ship violence. Do we have that? No, we do not have container ship mayhem on our bingo card here. So let's, what is this? Con just container ship mayhem? Okay, yeah, we'll just call it mayhem. Okay.
Did you have a tax on infrastructure?
Uh,
I don't know if
oh,
you remember, but when things got really tense, there was people talking about whole train cars full of nasty things on tracks above like the LA reservoir that feeds everybody water. I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
pretty
yeah, yeah.
crazy.
It wasn't that related to like East Palestine and other items and
Well,
train.
I mean, yeah, I mean when I can't, I guess it was 2020. I mean, it was
Yeah,
pretty.
it was nitrogen-based fertilizers blowing up by the entire train car, something like that. But we can definitely anticipate more attacks on infrastructure. There's
Oh yeah, yeah.
hundreds of thousands of sleeper agents that
Oh
are
God.
exclusively Chinese, let alone everyone else.
Well,
So
it's easy. It's easy to blow up a bridge. It's frighteningly easy. It only takes a
bridges,
few 100 pounds of fertilizer and some diesel fuel.
uh,
So do you have cyber warfare in here?
yes, we do.
Um,
We have
okay,
the cyber polygon styled
okay,
event.
got it.
We could call it cyber warfare too, in case people don't know what I'm referencing with this polygon web stuff. Who is a cyber expert? Our boy Gavin Hollander. He's a former cybersecurities sales guy, I believe. Um, yeah, election volatility, I think, will increase. But yeah, do we have racial civil strife in here? Like, where would George Floyd go under? Civil unrest, I guess. Okay, that's close enough. Yeah,
Hmm.
civil unrest. Okay. Um, yeah. Okay, sounds about the fair amount of black swans here. Okay.
Or defund the police. That's kind of
Defunding
civil
police.
unrest.
That's the other end of this, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, defunding police. Uh,
That's not gonna get over these days.
we'll leave it here. Yeah, a sub point. Okay. Um, what can I say?
Or bad DAs, Soros
Yeah,
DAs.
I
Soros
mean
DAs.
that
Yeah.
that'll be the nasty exposés of how horrible defunding the police and bad DAs has been. I mean that's positive for conservatives, not liberals.
And Kamala's part of this,
Wait,
but
you've heard the joke of what is a conservative? It's a liberal that
mugged.
got mugged. Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
I'm actually a liberal. When it comes down to 1970 Berkeley, I'm actually a liberal.
Well, there's classic liberalism, right? Which is has nothing to do with progressive stuff. Classic liberalism is this
Well,
would be uh
freedom of speech, right? Is a
yeah.
classic liberalism, and
Not trusting the government.
Yeah.
now the woke.
I mean, yeah,
Anti.
the Overton window has moved so far to the left that
Yeah.
everyone else looks like, Hitler, if you're not purple haired and blue, and with a septum piercing in your nose and whatnot. So yeah. Um, yeah, we're in chaos. And at some point, like the Asian Americans will have to relocate back to Asia at some point. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Okay. And then Theaters of War. I think it's the same places that keep getting hit, but yeah. We might want to hold this one.
That's hot right now. Yeah.
Very hot, yeah. I haven't heard as much from the other places, but
Ukraine versus Russia is hot. You could bold that one.
oh yeah, of course, of course. So Ukraine, Israel, Iran. Holy cow. And Red Sea still, dominated by Houthis. It's just chaos. And VIX is 15. Like, oh my God.
Well, that's because the stock market keeps on going up. I mean,
That's
VIX is a matter of how much confusion is there in the stock market.
yeah.
If we have a week of big down days, the VIX is going to be 17.
A week. Wow.
But I mean, we keep on rolling up and down. So I mean, it never. You have to have a pretty hard crash to hit 23.
Yeah. I'm just waiting. I mean,
I think risk also after 2008 has never been the same in terms of the VIX. I would make an argument that fundamentally we have shifted risk to the sovereign level. I'd be much more concerned about the bond market failing auctions is a much more real measure of real systemic risk than the stock market at this point. The stock market is determined that we will just print more dollars. And so there's no reason for anyone to be scared owning stocks.
I think that's a brilliant summary. Excellent.
The bond market, yes. I don't think we should be printing more money. I mean, the goal is to not create more inflation. We all know where that comes from.
Well, but you and I aren't in charge.
Right.
But what about
Yellen and Powell disagree.
Well, and Yellen was a good college professor and is completely incapable of doing her job.
what is her background again, Janet?
She was a college professor. She was a kiss ass TA for a professor, and she wrote like the best notes in the world. And then she had a paper that said that women are paid less than men. So she had this pivotal paper, and she got snatched up by Clinton. And she's been on this rocket ride ever since. But she's she's an enabler. She does not drive topics. She's not qualified for that job.
They sent her, wait, how old is she? I want to insult her correctly. They sent her 77-year-old ass to Beijing though last week.
No, exactly. And what I'm saying is she's not a she doesn't have it in her to be a tough person.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she's just an enabler. Yeah, she's just rubber stamps, whatever her bosses give her. Okay.
She talks so softly, so they cannot argue with her like if they sent a man, I think.
Uh,
Don't feel it that way.
maybe. But yeah, I'm happy. I want to report on her post-China comments in just a bit. But yeah, let's go through our bond stuff again. In my like, I think I know a lot about a lot of things, but my bond knowledge is probably the weakest asset class overall. So I kind of struggle to read through this too. Okay, let's see. Uh, okay, let me try. I read this like all morning and I still don't understand it. But
So the big ones are if we have to refinance more than half of our outstanding debt in a really short number of years. I mean, like 3 or 4 years. And if we don't have buyers in the foreign markets, that are replenishing our money that's out in these bonds, then we're screwed. I mean, the United States can't pay 7% just because people don't really want our bonds this year. I mean, there's a real risk here. I mean, Edward does not. I don't even think he's making it sound bad enough. This is a real danger. You can't have inflation. The world blows up if we don't get our shit together.
Yeah, I mean, we could have inflation and we are having inflation, to be clear. I mean, I don't think most people realize how devastating it will be. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think all signs show that we are, this train does not stop, as the meme goes. And we will continue to print. Um, there at this point, there really is no discussion even, and it's really or it'd have to be a legislative decision to change our what we're doing. I mean, part of it is humans have a really hard conceptualization of like these large numbers. So a simple way to think about it is this, and people will push back and say, oh well, governments work differently, but they really don't. Imagine you make $100,000 a year, your household. You have $5 million in debt that half of it needs to roll over in the next few years. It's currently at relatively low interest rates, but those interest rates are going to double, right? For example. And you're accumulating interest on the existing debt, not even on the rolling debt, at approximately $150,000 every 4 months. How do you fix your family's financial situation? What would you do? Okay, that's the situation the U.S. government is in, and that's a good analogy so people can kind of wrap their heads around like where we're at.
And the answer always comes back to MMT, not paying interest. And that's where the EU is in real danger because they're talking about those forever bonds where you collect interest for the rest of your life, like an annuity.
Yeah, I mean, at a household level, what would you do in that situation? You declare bankruptcy, right? You would have what they call a hard default because that's the only choice that you have. As a family, you can't print more of your own currency.
Right.
Well, you could. They send you to jail for that. That's called, um, yeah. So what they're going to do is they're not going to do a hard default because it's politically unpalatable and because we can print our own currency. So, they'll pay you back your 30 or 50 or 100-year bond. I wouldn't be surprised if we start creating those longer term bonds like Europe. And you're just not going to get your purchasing power back. So the people who are going to take a bloodbath primarily are the boomers, right? Because they're the ones like think about who owns bonds, like who owns long-term treasuries. That is, and it's not China, it's not like any foreign countries, a few, but like most big foreign powers are divesting themselves of our bonds. So it's going to end up like Japan effectively, except that like we're not really nearly the nation of savers that Japan was. And so just those remaining bondholders, they are going to get absolutely destroyed. I mean, there is no other way that the math works. And they'll run inflation hot. They'll do what they did in the 40s actually in this country, but like on steroids. So basically, they're going to destroy bondholders' wealth, and also I think landholders. That will be something else that gets kind of crushed in that. Is it will be basically a big suck out of the baby boomer wealth. Those are the areas. Like if you think about it, if you're the government and you can't come up with the money, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to steal it, right? So that's the group to steal it from, and those
People's
are the
IRAs.
assets that they hold.
People's IRAs.
Yeah, people's IRAs, 401ks, etc. Yeah.
Well, I think we're gonna fight for 20 years and then be dead. So I yeah, I look at it the Civil War type scenario coming up.
I mean, we've been saber rattling so hard with NATO, uh, that yeah, I'm kind of with Dave that the military industrial complex will just start up, a three-front war, Taiwan, the Middle East, and the Ukraine. It seems plausible. But don't worry, guys, there's no recession in sight, so we're all just fear mongering. Okay. We'll skip that article. Let's talk really briefly about the ECB. So they're holding rates at 0, and we're just looking at the current USC, their euro chart. I didn't realize it was this bad. Holy cow. Um, 88 cents to the dollar. Incredible. And then for comparisons, I looked up the yen, so we're at 153. Holy cow. I don't think it's ever been this bad before. Ever. We should go to Japan. Forget America. And then here's the Argentine peso. And I looked up the Big Mac index. So it's the same size as my Challenger's Big Block, which is funny. So that's about a $3,000 peso Big Mac in Argentina.
So the euro, you invert it. We're still at 1.8 approximately.
Wait,
I mean,
what? Oh, I'm
uh,
sorry. I'm
the
sorry.
euro should not be at like a 90 cents. It's the other way around
No,
and,
wait,
and
sorry. Here we go.
1.08.
Okay, yeah, here we go.
And that's a number that we've had for a really long time.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, we haven't really seen the effects yet, right? Of if things get bad enough in our bond market, what does it mean for the currency? And there's a couple of different ways that could go. Um, we'll
Uh,
see.
and gold is setting yet another all-time new high yet again.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are going to leave these assets. That's why you're seeing prices in gold and earlier this year, Bitcoin. Things that are hard assets are going to go up in value. There was some Chinese news I heard of just like Chinese like getting out of real estate and into gold. That's probably later in your news cycle, but I saw
Yeah,
that and I was thinking of
yeah.
you.
And then
Well, they're having big banking problems too. And just so you guys know, the market is zooming. You should be lost today.
Yeah, ever since the bond auction, just look at the Nasdaq,
Yeah.
just shot straight up.
Yep. Spice up like 5. Wow.
uh,
What is going on?
But that's $2,500 a contract for the ES.
Wow.
And VIX is down a point, just so you know. It
uh,
was over 16 and it's now 15.
are you shorting the VIX?
A little bit, but
Okay.
no, I'm actually in an ES trade right now.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right, cool. Um, okay. Briefly getting back to fiscal stuff. So we have spent 1.1 trillion for the first 6 months. And here is the overall flow chart. So let's see. We make 161. We have to, we get 150 from withholdings. We make a tiny pittance from corporate taxes, excise taxes, custom duties, miscellaneous estate and gift taxes. So we're deficit 236 billion. And then we have to pay our bills. Oh my God. 122 billion for Social Security, 82 billion for income security. What the hell is this? What is health? That's a big bucket. Net interest.
Health is going to be Medicare. Actually, I guess there's a separate bucket for Medicare.
Yeah.
It's the one below, like Medi-Cal, and I can't remember the Fed name.
Is this Obamacare? I'm not sure.
Don't know.
interest, veterans, education, transportation. Okay, and then gender studies in Pakistan, of course, is part of this other category. But yeah, it's just insanity. I don't understand. Like, what do we become? I mean, the best case scenario is Japan, but I think that's unlikely.
Yeah,
Venezuela.
Japan went a depressionary route. We're going into inflation. So, and you can just take a look at actually any of the developing world countries that have struggled with, I'm not even talking about hyperinflation, but just double digit inflation. And that's what it looks like. I mean,
Yeah, there's been a lot of countries that have been at 8 to 15% compared to US.
yeah,
We're just newbies to this.
yeah, we're just newbies to inflation. But like, what's crazy about it, and I know a couple of folks have said, oh, we're going to go immediately into civil war. And I naively sort of thought that as well. But take a look at places like Argentina or even places that have much, much higher inflation. And generally that hasn't happened. People just will get poorer. And I think it was one of our traders here said that a while back. And and I was like, really? And yes, that's what's going to happen is people will just become poorer, and that's what will happen. And they'll just suck it up. They'll just continue to get rug pulled over and over and over because people are sheep.
Well,
Yeah. And that just is shocking to me. Like, I'm like, what do you mean people like should be out on the streets? But they won't, because as long as they can keep the circuses and your Netflix and some sort of bread, people will just suck it up and get poor. Like,
but there's the people who know enough to stop spending, and then there's the people who want to double spending, and there's a real potential of civil war here.
yeah, I just think the people who think like us are in a minority. I mean, think about how few people are in this group, or like if I talk to like normal people out on the street, or even people who are reasonably educated at my work, they'll just be like, "Oh, well, it's just the way it is." That's literally their words. It's just the way it
Because
is.
Yeah.
I think people feel helpless. They don't know what they need to do,
Yeah,
Yes.
they
right?
are
And
helpless.
there's no leader. There's no leader who will be out there and make their voices heard. And people kind of suck it up, which is
Yep.
No, we're back to half the population kind of acts like Janet Yellen.
I mean, and it's kind of like what is the famous saying that we've had at our work? The punishment will, was it the morale?
it's not.
What is it? The punishment will continue until morale improves, right? So that is pretty much what the average person in the population, they will just, yeah,
They just
and this is
accept
what,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
they'll just accept it, and it's what creates like the cultures. Like you can see it like in Japan a little bit, like when things get so bad, it's the deaths of despair, right? And all those sort of things. That's what you end up with, and a baby bust, and you know, just massive cuts in spending, and people just basically staying home and staying single and watching Netflix.
Yeah.
Austerity is the word.
Yeah, austerity, exactly. Right. In England, they have mastered the austerity, right? With just it's almost become like part of the culture, or at least it was in like the post-Thatcher era.
But I think it's going to be something quite difficult for American people to accept austerity because it's something that people here have not experienced before, right? So,
Mhm.
I mean, not for a couple of generations. Let's be clear. I mean,
right.
there,
2008.
yeah, like in the
2008.
30s and the Dust Bowl, like,
Yeah.
my grandparents and stuff for sure. But yeah, after that, no, no
Well,
austerity.
look at young people today. They DoorDash, they Uber Eats, they have everything delivered to them. They wouldn't
But they
even
pay
like,
twice as much. It's so
exactly. They pay twice as much, having like their Starbucks delivered to their office. I was like, wow,
Yeah, it
I
just
don't
becomes
understand that culture.
yeah, it becomes a society that's very focused on what I would say high time preference, right? Basically, it's the FOMO culture, give it to me now, gambling, degen mentality, like Warren was mentioning earlier with these degens trading on the toilet or whatever. It leads to those sort of just poor life choices.
It's the YOLO culture. The young people, the 20 some, the 30 some, they all live their life like, you know, YOLO. They YOLO. I talk to my younger kids, my 20 some kids. They all say YOLO. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that, even though he's not like that, but he sees all his peers acting like that. So basically they said, what's the point? They don't know what the future has in store for them. They might as well just enjoy what they have today. They can't buy a house, right? Everything just beyond what they can afford. So they just want to enjoy their life right now.
But
And
the
they don't
boomers
seem there's anything wrong with that. Yeah.
the boomers are going to give up their big giant houses and then die. So there's going to
Well,
be
they're all going to pass their houses to their
20,
kids,
plenty
right?
of houses in 20 years.
I don't think the houses will go to the kids though. Like a lot of boomer
They're just going to just
generation,
sell them. They're going to just
they're
sell
going to
them.
sell it to BlackRock. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're not going to like,
Not in California. They're not going to the kids.
Yeah,
Not with
exactly.
Prop 19.
Yeah.
what
And
do you, what
also
do
a
you,
lot of boomers don't believe that their children should get any of the money as well. So there's a lot of that
really?
mentality. Oh yeah. There's much of that mentality as well. But I agree, there'll be taxation, it will go to the state. That's what will happen with all those big properties.
With a cut to the realtors.
Or
And
the
don't
realtor don't deserve anything in the first place.
Well,
They
they
really have
got
no
Prop
role.
19 instituted so that they would make sure to make a bundle when the baby boomers passed on.
There was a big uh, realtor thing where uh, a lot of people said that 6% is usury.
6% is used.
Percent.
Uh, Funny enough,
Actually, starting in July, buyers agents are not gonna be automatically making any money. That's because of a lawsuit um, that they won against National Realtors Association.
yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
What
national.
what is that? What is
It, it's
I didn't get
So
it.
the buyer will pay his own agent and the seller
Okay.
will pay his own agent.
Yeah, that's
So
recent. I didn't read the news.
so
it's
you
because
mean that so there'll be two the buyer will have their own agent, the seller will have their own agent,
Well, the payment. So it's not charging 6% to the seller.
right?
It's going to be like 3%. And then if the buyer wants an agent, they work out their own deal and pay their own buyer's agent. Maybe
But
they'll
they,
do
Ah,
a
they
flat
probably won't pay
fee
him
paper.
3%.
Oh, let's do a flat fee. Pay him $500 to sign a paper.
we'll
I found
see.
my own house. I found it. You
Mhm,
just process the papers for a flat fee. It sounds good to me.
right.
Well, that's like a mortgage firm, and I can't remember the other name.
Title.
Title. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think in the future, all these realtors will have no role in the real estate transactions at all.
yeah, absolutely. And the joke is, it's failed creatives that become real estate agents because there's a mediocre barrier to entry, and there's no technical
Right.
skills overall. And
Skills.
at
Nothing.
best, it's a game of logistics. And if you know, like if you guys have ever worked in a real estate office or a mortgage office, the amount of uh, how do I say this politely? The amount of sexual favors that flows between attractive young realtors and mortgage lenders would shock you. Uh, we can just leave it at that. But yeah.
Because in the future, everything can be on the blockchain.
Or ChatGPT can do all the paperwork.
Exactly. Who needs a mortgage loan or whatever? Realtors.
Yeah.
Well, the realtors are the salespeople that take you through the walkthroughs, and they help you select houses. So the selection's going to be okay, but then you're going to need somebody to show off the houses. But we're all trending to like a 1% fee.
Yeah, there's
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 been
there's
articles
no
recently.
value add from realtors. Like
No, not at
they're
all. Not
almost
at
as
six
bad as
percent.
yeah, and they're almost as bad as lawyers and almost as
Yeah,
so it's like in the game of life, lawyers and realtors are the rake.
they have no use for the society.
Um, okay, yeah. Oh yeah, we mentioned this in our intro. Yeah, so savings rates have started to move, and this was on Tuesday, I think. So there was a lot of anticipation of a Fed cut, which totally didn't work. So I could see why some people overreacted with $50 million bets. Okay. All right. Let's transition to our domestic news and let's look at our hurt stuff one last time. And I'll still keep this, but it's gobbling up a lot of pages in this I guess our report here. So
The EU is going to be the front runner on lowering rates, just
yeah,
so everybody knows.
so we'll watch the ECB, the Bank of Canada, and all their different outlets. But yeah, let me start a new little sheet here. Tesla 2004. Okay. All right, let's look this up one last time. We could pop in every now and then, but I don't think we need to study this like before. Oh, look at the total amount of units. 1,500. Holy shit. That's moving. What was last week? Holy shit. Where's the picture from last week? Did I not save it? I think I saved it somewhere else. Oh, it's okay. But yeah, we're seeing 1,500 units, guys.
That's why Tesla can't sell all the cars they made because they had a lot of leftovers inventory.
Beautiful. Let's drop this here. And let's see what Tesla prices are like at Tesla for a Model 3. Let's see. So they're leading off of this. Okay. 37. Uh, can you imagine overpaying for your Model 3 by tens, if not $20,000? I, I would be
They say it's not worth buying a 3 when a Y long range is almost the same cost as a 3 short range because they cut the Y price.
oh,
See that
okay.
37 after. And because they cut the price, it qualifies for the tax credit on the Y.
Wow.
So
Well, Tesla is implementing their autonomous uh, software, right? For anyone that owns Tesla right now, you have like a 30-day to test the system.
Oh, the premium connectivity trial looks like that's the option.
Yeah, like the self-driving feature.
I was watching this one Tesla hating YouTube channel. They were talking about the low end EMF radiation that the motors um, generate when they're under load. Um, that's
Wow.
I like that one. Let's save that one up.
wait. What do you need, Dave? You want a link or
Uh,
anything?
I, I like that argument. I never thought of that one.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, because you're creating these giant magnetic fields that zoom right through people.
Yeah.
It's like living next to a power pole times 10 or 100,000.
Yeah. And it's not high, it's low, it's the low band of radiation that's outputted. So yeah, there's lots of videos on it. Here, I'll drop in the chat. I'll just pop in through a couple of them. And you can imagine the folks that are in their Uber, sorry, like Tesla Ubers all day, delivering food and people. Uh, we've never even thought about this risk. People don't even understand the the EMF complications of your phone next to your head for 8 hours at night. Um, but yeah, so yeah, it should be a thing. Okay. All right. Let's move on. So we talked about this, California's latest hustle. So effing PG&E. And why is PG&E even on illicit exchange? That's a crazy question, but just sounds like money laundering to me. But yeah, let's look at PG&E. Uh, that's what PJC, I think. What,
P
what's PG?
P
Uh,
PGE maybe
PGE?
is it?
Uh, no. PCG. Oh gosh. Make it
Okay.
complicated so people can't find your ticker. I'm sure that was deliberate. All right, so this is PCG. Uh, well, I'm not sure. Is this more corrupt than Amtrak? Hard to say, but yeah, earnings coming up. Oh my gosh. When is this? 225, 2 weeks. Okay. Is sideways like a mofo. Okay. More grifters grifting. Okay. All right. Um, oh, I dropped a link to this. We're talking about defaults, and this is an I've been sharing this with some of my like gun homies, but you guys should bookmark this. It's incredible. It's a Navy SEAL that's a writer, and he basically predicted George Floyd riots and BLM riots to a T. And he wrote this in 2012. And his scenario, like the trigger's different, but he anticipated urban revolts would start when the urban welfare programs uh, go bankrupt. So like SNAP benefits, EBT, what's the California stuff? Cal Works for 10F, Cal Fresh for food stamps, and whatever
Wow.
other thousand kinds. But yeah, flash mob riots. Like he really anticipates this. He wrote it correctly. Um,
Mhm.
it is uncanny. So I'd recommend you guys just read this, and it's written very realistically. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Any
Hey,
exp
Warren, can you drop that? Can you drop that in the chat?
Yeah, it's in the chat. Yeah, let me drop it again.
Oh, okay.
He,
Dude, yeah, it's
What's
like,
he? Mhm.
oh, sorry about that. Go ahead,
No,
Wani.
no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I
Go
was
ahead.
also gonna make a suggestion of Richard Marcinko's books.
oh yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Who,
because
who's that?
Marcinko's, the guy who created the Navy SEAL, SEAL Team Six, his stuff is basically every one of his books has it points out to a particular scenario. Like one was actually a Greenpeace activist, and then another one was
Rogue Warrior.
yeah, Rogue Warrior. He basically he wrote like the SEAL team what is that, something gold. Basically, it's all these different colors, and then each one of them portray a particular scenario. Highly recommend the books.
Okay.
Oh, awesome! Oh,
Shit.
because they're getting a little harder and harder to find. I saw somebody on Amazon trying to sell before. Yeah, like Red Cell stuff.
Cool. If you guys haven't used this before, this is a cool uh they basically just sell used books. It's called Better World Books. It
Mm.
networks
Oh, yeah.
used bookstores together. So I've been shopping here instead of Amazon, eBay. But yeah.
Yeah, they're good. You can also buy them through Amazon, right? I usually get the books from them, but sometimes Amazon took
Yeah.
me to them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Wasn't there a largest bookstore that was up in the Washington area? Largest private bookstore.
Oh,
Let's see.
oh no, you're thinking of
Powell's.
Portland. Portland.
Powell's.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Powell's book.
Not volume, but it's the biggest walk in the bookstore.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Portland.
Highly recommend if you got a chance. Check out that place too.
How it looks in Oregon, Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Portland.
Uh,
Okay.
if you're a book nerd, there's what's the book the book I think it's different now, but there's a huge street of books and stationery in near downtown in Shanghai that I spend all my money on. yeah, Fuzhou, yeah. All like, it's a story of it's a whole boulevard of bookstores and like pen shops and like mechanical pencils. Like it's just so dangerous for me.
Sorry,
Uh,
I already bought all my Super Pro mechas.
yeah, yeah.
I'm a
No.
happy camper. I was able to get them before they all disappeared.
Mhm.
Oh, Ed had to bounce. Okay, no worries. Okay, back to local news. Let me explain this quickly. So, looks like uh, California has been trying to launch trillions of aerosol particles in the SF Bay to limit global warming.
Hey, this is Gordon. I just saw your text. Yes. Yeah, this Russell? Yes.
No worries. Okay. Um, so this was to change weather patterns in the Bay Area. So this is act
Wow.
has been kept under the wraps for quite a bit. Interesting. And has this happened before in the Bay Area? You bet. And Warren brings receipts. So here's the 1950s biological warfare experiment here. They unleashed bacteria all over the SF Bay, and
Wow.
two types of bacteria believed to be harmless, but they created enough, or they monitored the inhalation at 43 locations, and they determined the city had enough of a dose for all 800,000 residents to inhale 5,000 particles. This is within the range of infectivity for anthrax. Thanks,
Wow.
thanks a lot. And then people sued because people did die. But yeah. And then
Well,
this, yeah.
the spike was identified as a bioweapon vector in 1965.
So who?
Wow.
The spike, the flu spike, the spike protein.
Oh no.
Mhm.
I mean, this is a long, long time ago that they identified this as a bioweapons vector.
This is why people should not trust the government.
Exactly.
For
And we're
sure.
back to that. I can see a revolution coming.
And this happened, and I like I'm still shocked by the amount of BLM sympathizers that ignore this. And this is before I even pull out the big guns. Like you guys know about the what was it the slave trade, right? Oh shoot, what was it called? The triangular slave trade. Okay, all right.
But they ignore that Africa still has slaves, and that the trade started in the Middle East side of Africa. I mean,
Yeah.
this has been part of the world and culture for as long as people remember.
Yeah. And this is the Western African slave trade. No one talks about the Eastern one. So
Right.
there's numbers for this. 6 million Africans went to the North and South Americas. And so here's a triangular slave part. So manufactured goods out of Europe, and guns, and they sold it to the Africans. Africans then sell the slaves to the colonies. Colonies sell raw products like molasses, tobacco, and whatnot to Europe, and they keep doing this loop.
Okay, so there's I have the data for this. 85% of the black people went to South America and the Caribbean. Only 15% went to the United States, and ours had babies. They just killed them off.
Yeah,
There's some horrible things that happened to them, and
this,
that's why the privateers were happy to go blow up Spaniards.
right. The And then I just watched episode one of Shogun. So if you guys saw
Oh,
the
is it
Spanish and
good?
Portuguese hate, yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
There was
Uh,
a whole movie about it before, like back in the 80s or 90s, maybe 90s.
yeah. This is a reboot technically. Yeah,
Yeah, and a
but
book.
yeah,
I gave you the link for the 80s
yeah.
in here.
Okay. So yeah, I don't want to waste too much time, but the point I'm making is this Western trade is nothing. This is 20% of the total trade. What I'm saying is 6 million went west, 30 million went east. And do you see any black kids in like the Middle East? Not really. The reason for that is the women were raped, the babies were killed, and the men were castrated.
Hmm.
And they disappeared off the biological map. They don't exist because like they didn't have babies to Dave's point. And again, so 30 million went east into near Asia and so forth. But they don't exist there because they were raped and worked to death. And nobody wants to talk about that. Okay. But yeah. Um uh yeah. Okay. We're getting off the scope of our meeting here. But yeah. Uh Puff Daddy, he's basically a super predator and it's well, like Cat Williams really called this out well, so we'll keep going. We talked about this. Very suspicious. Nothing happened. Very questionable. How did so many how did so many redundant power systems fail consecutively? I don't know. But yeah. More shenanigans with Boeing and the FAA itself is corrupt as hell, so we don't trust any of the supposed sheepdogs there. But let's look at Boeing really quick. They've been having a disaster. Today, down 0.5%. They've been in sell-off city for the last 3 months straight, and their share price reflects that. And they've been gapping down, and we got earnings coming up in about 2 weeks. So that will be fun. But yeah, it's trading below its 500 and 200-day moving average. So tough times ahead for this military and civilian supplier. Okay. Dollar Tree, crazy shenanigans happening there. Dollar Tree's revolt over $7 items. Sorry, Dollar Tree shoppers. Yeah. Um, and yeah, hundreds of 99-cent stores close as well. And let's look up Dollar Tree's share price. We haven't looked at them since their earnings, but let's see. What is it? DLTRs? DL.
LTR.
Yeah, there we go. And I just went to Daiso the other day to get some house stuff, and it was kind of sad that they discontinued a lot of their products because they can't keep up with inflation. So like their nice like balsa wood cutting boards are all gone, which is sad.
Wow.
So here's yeah, Dollar Tree, big gap down from last earnings. That was what, a miss? Yeah, estimated 266. They paid 255. So profits are down, and yeah, it's dancing below its 500-day moving average as well. And it's
Mm.
about to enter sell-off city, and investors are not happy, and they will probably be dumping. Okay, and then we'll let you look out for the next earnings. But yeah, okay. So yeah. Um, Main Street is having problems. Yeah, crazy. Okay, and as we mentioned, 99-cent stores have all closed. 371 of them, theft and inflation. And it's just sad. Like when you're stealing from like, a dollar outlet type store, the amount of items they have to sell to recoup the, single digit profit margin is, probably 20 to 50 items. It's just horrible.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Okay. And then here's sneaky puppeteer master himself, Jamie Dimon, warning that risks that eclipse anything World War II. What's his hand in it? Oh, we can't talk about that, but it's just a nice recap of all of the black swans we talk about. Nothing new to our group, but yeah. And his letter to shareholders is kind of interesting, but yeah, whatever. Okay, we'll skip this loser. Kind of hinted about this. Just be careful for your homeowner's insurance. Your carrier hates you and is looking for a reason to dump you, because California is the new unofficial loss leader for property and casualty. So yeah, be careful with that. Should we be trading this? Maybe not, because they get bail-ins like clockwork. It's kind of impossible to track them, and the amount of insider information leaking is legendary. Okay, let's fast forward to real estate news and let's get into affordable homes. Oh, we got to look at our home builder ETF, which is ITB. Lots of developers in here, paint companies, industrial supplies, and fun stuff like that. So that's, yeah, ITB. And finally, we're seeing some money rotate out of these guys. They're right at the zero line and from a net inflow and outflow perspective. But yeah, they've been having a gap down recently, and looks like home builder paradise is no longer open for business. Things might be shifting. Okay. And with that, let's look at affordability data. Looks like 2022, 2023, share of homes that are affordable based on median income, where the mortgage is no more than 30% of your income. Yeah, only 16% of homes qualify for that. Yeah. To survive in the Bay Area, at least in the South Bay, I have to clock what, 300,000 to pay for today's financing and appreciation costs. Yeah, how about no?
Wow.
Thank you. So yeah, we're not going to play that game. Okay. Let's take a look at the losers out in SoCal. So to recap, here's the mansion tax. If you're selling properties over 5 million, there's a 4% sales tax. Over 10 million, 5.5%. Just punish all of those Hollywood losers down there. So yeah, this is to raise funds for more laundering and homeless industrial complex fund, I'm sure. Okay, so that's LA for you. And let's look at Blackstone, the real dark hand in the US real estate game. So yeah, now they're moving into multifamilies. So they've been picking up entire apartment REITs and yeah, it's incredible. So they're targeting multi-units. So let's pull up the REIT watch list, the default one off TOS, and let's look at this really quick. So let me walk you guys through this. So sector leader here looks like it's AMT. Again, this is American Tower Corp, mostly 5G cell towers, not really what we want. Multi-units would be like Avalon, Bay Communities here. Essex is a big Bay Area player here. I used to work for these guys. Equity Residential is fairly big as well. Simon Proper Group is more strip malls, and we remember like in 2020, Gap stopped playing. Gap was like their anchor tenants and was refusing to pay during the COVID era. What else is here that is interesting for multi-units? I need the list view, I think. But oh yeah, Kim Realty has multi-units as well. Mid America apartment community. I don't think this is West Coast centric. I don't recognize it. But yeah, those are the more residential style stuff that's clumped up here. So yeah, okay. Let's go back to our stuff. But yeah, it seems like the master plan is to pick up distressed real estate and get Uncle Sam to pay for illegals to be housed in them. That seems to be the game. Okay. All right, let's shift to tech news and let's look at the NVIDIA bubble. And oh, let's look at NVIDIA stock first. We gotta look at this. And this is carrying the entire NASDAQ with it and a fair chunk of the S&P. And my swab is crashing. Okay. Oh, NVIDIA. And where is the ES? 0.83. Okay, cool. So NVIDIA is having a nice green day. Still strong inflows despite the very sideways motion. So clearly smart money is selling into retail because you have so much in inflows and the price is slightly dipping down over time. ATR has been at its peak for a while. Okay, so we're dead at 900. Okay, cool. Let's look at the expected move for the week. 130, was it $1? What was that? Let's see. Oh, 16 for the week, 40 for next week. Okay. Currently vol is about 42%. Okay. Pretty public. A little scared. Okay, 0.704. Okay. Got it. Okay, let's jump back to our article. All right. So OpenAI and Meta are on the brink of releasing upgraded versions of their large language learning models capable of reasoning and planning and critical steps towards achieving superhuman cognition in machines. So it's Llama 3 from Meta and ChatGPT 5 from OpenAI. Okay. And then NVIDIA peaked, what, 2 weeks ago? And okay. And let's see. With big tech and launched, sorry, even with big tech launching new and improved LLMs, the delay in the Federal Reserve's pivot due to reacceleration in inflation could be enough to overshadow any hype in the AI bubble. Really? You don't say. Okay. So the market's a little sensitive. All right. Cool. We haven't looked at Meta in a while. Let's look at Meta stock. Um, Come on. All right, strong inflow still. Wow, yeah. It's definitely recovered from its 2022 lows in a big way, but wow. 522. Okay, got it. All right, let's pivot to Apple. Friendshoring with India. Let's go to Apple. Again, of the Max 7, Apple and Tesla are the two weakest components. And in the commonality is they're both very vulnerable to the Indian the Chinese markets, which for Tesla is half their profits. And for Apple, it's a quarter of their iPhone sales. So let's look. On balance volume, Apple's been below the zero line for the last gosh, 70 days. So share price has reflected that, and we got earnings coming up. That should be very poor earnings on May 2nd. And yeah, Apple's definitely not having a good time. Definitely given up a lot of room uh, lately. But yeah, I think this trend will continue. So yeah. Okay, let's look at this latest stats. So yes, Apple makes 14% or 1 in 7 phones in India. Okay, cool. Uh, I think all my phones are still made in China. Okay. Let's see. Apple iPhone shipments in China are down significantly. Okay. No, no question there. Let's see. Low tech friendshoring job flows from China. Going to West Africa, Northern Africa, India, and Vietnam, and the Southeast Asian regions. There we go. Okay. Uh, yeah.
I'm surprised that the Cambodia market hasn't really gone up.
Well, Cambodia is famous for what's its chief GDP figure or production? Child rape. So yeah, it's not Cambodia is so ass backwards, and the amount of pedophilia and corruption probably hampers a lot of innovation for Western businessmen. Uh,
Interesting.
yeah. One of my friends went to, well, not, he's not a friend, but he's a banker I know about. And he went to Cambodia. Let me think. This was 10 years ago. And his comments to me were Cambodia is like 30 years behind China. And he's talk about 1980s China. So he's
Oh,
saying China's like in the 1950s era, like post communistic famines.
yeah,
Like it's just so ass backwards. Like it's the most extreme frontier economy of Southeast Asia. It makes Vietnam look like 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 the peak Roman Empire in comparison. It's just so ass backwards there.
yeah. It's just kind of interesting because I just a friend of mine, their family, they're moving their business to Cambodia now. Uh,
Let's
I'll have a yeah. It's like we'll have a offline conversation.
yeah,
It'll
yeah,
be
happy to check. But just as a reference, let's look at per capita income. 6,000. So what is that? $50 a month, right?
wow.
50 US a month. Uh, that's 144th on the planet out of 200 countries. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Where's the lowest? Uh, lowest. South Sudan. Oh my God. Oh, here's a clue for you guys geographically. Anytime you see like directions and street names or cities, it's a shit city. East Palo Alto, East San Jose, South San Jose, in any directions in the city or name or even the country is probably bad. North Korea, South Sudan, that kind of stuff. Okay. All right. Okay.
And a shitload of streets, anything to have like North King, South King, is that a bad sign too?
MLK anything. Run, right? All right. All right. Pivoting to semiconductor news. What's our semiconductor ETF? SO semi semiconductor ETF. What is it again? The big one. I keep forgetting this. SMH. Shake my head. Okay. SMH. The big semi. Okay, SMH. Okay. Yeah, semiconductors here. I'm not sure what the holdings are. Let's see. SMH holdings. How does this fund manager stuff their goose? What the hell? Damn it. Okay. What's your holdings? What's your holdings? NVIDIA 20%, TSM 19%, Broadcom 7%, 7.77, huh? ASML 5%, Qualcomm 5%, Micron, AMAT, Texas, Lam, Advanced, AMD, Intel, such a low.
Wow.
So
That's a lot.
I would concur with the fund manager. This does seem reflective of the marketplace. Okay, got it. Okay, let's jump back to our article. So yes, White House said, thanks to this investment, TSM will build a third chip factory in Phoenix, increasing investment in Arizona to 65 billion and creating over 25,000 direct construction and manufacturing jobs.
So those jobs were in Arizona because Intel had a big fab
yeah,
there in Chandler.
but there's not enough water for wafer processing. I don't understand how they're gonna.
Well, they purify the water, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but it requires.
yeah, the city can't grow. I mean, the population's all screwed up at this point.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah. So here's the CHIPS Act. Looks like the key recipient has been Intel. Okay.
Yeah, that's a scam.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that's cooking. Let's pivot to the labor market. Your C-Class Mercedes will get a lot more expensive coming up with this joining the mob effort here. Um, yeah, organized labor, keeping Americans poor. All right. Used to have a place, but less so much in this day and economy. Okay. Okay, international stuff, all the fun stuff, the spicy geopolitical activities. All right. So Iran's talking shit at the UN Security Council, calling its other co-members for being inactive. I think that's more than fair. Biden's promising Israel ironclad support against Iran, but walks back call for unilateral ceasefire because not blowing up things is not good for business for Dick Cheney. And in a connected note, a single Israeli airstrike has taken out a Hamas leader's sons and grandchildren. Again, can we not kill non-combatants? But this is a genocide. This is not a clean fight. So no surprises there. Um, German troops are in line of fire, first foreign deployment since World War II. And that's kind of disturbing. And yeah, they're gonna be the cannon fodder for NATO. It's really sad. Next item. Ukrainian men paying disabled women to marry them to avoid the front lines. And the cost, I think, was like 3,000 US or something. Let me double check. Where is it? 3,000 euros. There we go for sham marriages. Excellent. And of course, this is a mark of victory, right? Lowering the age of conscription. Uh, that's always a sign of bullishness. But yeah. Okay. So lots of things happening here. And okay, we want to talk about this as hinted in our earlier intro. Lots of weird calls coming from Japan. So again, they had to kill Shinzo because Shinzo would defend Japanese interests, like the homogeneous culture of Japan. And especially with Miss Japan being that Ukrainian, biatch, clearly there's bosses above Japanese leadership that are calling the shots. And in classic Japanese fashion, this Ukrainian girl was caught sleeping with one of the judges and had to give up her crown. Like, there's nothing more Japanese than infidelity or marital infidelity. Um, but yeah, so the powers that be are really trying to virtue signal and keep eyeballs on Ukraine and the West. This is ridiculous. Okay. Um, all right, let's go to the Japanese article itself. Okay, here we go. So Japan appears to be transitioning from a homogeneous society to embrace diversity and inclusivity by ushering in an era of mass foreign migration. And if you've been following any of the Japanese tourist news, there's been idiots that are like abusing locals in like Kyoto and stuff. And people are pissed at the local level because it's like the idiots acting dumb, and their skin tone is a lot darker than mine, if you catch my drift.
How are they abusing the locals? What do they do?
Kyoto, they're just being assholes, like tourists. They're banning
Yeah,
like
we had our fair share here in Hawaii. As a matter of fact, Iolani Palace, there are people touching type of the displays and things like that, trying to mock the throne.
Oh, I
Look,
didn't
it's
go to
it's
that one
the
too.
it's the palace for it's the Iolani Palace here, and I'm not going to mention the color of the people either, but that was the common cause. We have like a lot more of that. There's a lot of disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah. This is a kind of old footage, but
Indian.
this was in Japan. Like a lot of my like female, like I haven't been to India yet, even though I worked at an Indian company. I just haven't been there yet. But a lot of my like female friends that travel to India they report like horror, like the amount of
Mm.
creeps, scandalous, like sexual harassment and overt staring is like magnitudes bigger than anything they've ever experienced. And uh like, do we have our Indians here with us today? No, zero, none of them are here. Okay. Um,
Caucasians
huh?
or Caucasian blood or Indian blood?
Whoa, sorry.
Like, are we talking blonde girls like Caucasian people?
Both blondes and Asians. Like it's very rapey. Let's see. Japanese.
Any women, basically,
Yeah,
women.
and they're like blonde women are like holy animals, like white rhinos. This was
Yeah.
from last year. This still
Yep.
um,
Japanese women harass and Holly, India.
yeah, that's not okay. This is their Holi festival. Like
What's
they're
what's a, what's a Holly festival?
they're like their spring thing. It's like a spring festival, and they're like groping this chick, and it's just like there's more. It's like this kind of stuff like comes out of all of like India. It's horrific. This is a Japanese tourist, by the way. Um, uh,
Wow.
if I was there, like half a dozen of these boys' arms would be broken. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's just lots of dumb shit, especially when since Japan is cheap at the moment. So yeah, it's just disrespectful among other things. But yeah,
Yeah.
so yes, the again, this is not from the Japanese leadership, 100%. This is from their bosses, the bankers that own them. Who's our U.S. ambassador to Japan? Uh, he is rumored to be like a closeted homosexual. Uh, this mofo. Yeah, he looks a little questionable. Wrong, Emmanuel. Yeah, he has a dual citizenship for sure. He's born in Jerusalem. Okay, that's a guaranteed then. Okay. Um, yeah. And yellow fever for this demographic is kind of legendary. But yeah. Okay. Uh let's not get
He
canceled.
was in the Obama administration, I think.
Is he?
Yeah, he was the one that said, "Don't let a crisis go to waste."
Oh, what's his name? Yeah, he is. Emmanuel.
And his
Yep.
brother was the architect, one of the architects for Obamacare.
Yeah.
So well connected like a mofo. Okay. And he tells Japan what's up. So yeah, it's sad to see Japan go this route, but for sure it's not their own choice. And um, I don't think the Japanese will take this lying down. They're not Germans, they're not the British. Yakuza are still very well armed, and even though they've gone legitimate, it doesn't mean they've like forgotten their darker days of katanas and stuff. So
And breaking arms.
yeah,
My question is the mass foreign immigration is any particular countries that they are welcoming?
it's still
The
early, but
Caucasians
well, it's definitely not. Yeah, it's not the Russian.
or
Yeah. Um,
Well,
uh,
they've been very
the Japanese?
anti-immigration.
Yeah.
So anything at all, I think, is what they're talking about.
Um, I am not so sure about that because Japanese people, they are really what's that word? Xenophobic.
homophobic. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So they've gone from almost zero to a teeny tiny amount. That's what's under discussion, not mass immigration.
They're not gonna just take any foreign immigration from third world country.
Sure.
They are very selective of who they
That,
want into their
sure,
country.
sure, but that's not their call.
On an
It's
open border, though.
but it's
Yeah.
not their call. Like
Not
Japan
their
is
call, absolutely. Yeah, no, no.
Japan is not ruled by the Japanese. It hasn't been that way since the early 90s. I mean,
Well,
Who ruled them?
Uncle
The
Sam.
pigs.
Uncle
Yeah,
Sam.
the
Uncle
pigs.
Sam. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
They're a vassal state, and ditto for South Korea. Um,
Yeah,
these are all U.S. territories, for better or for
yep.
worse.
this is all so stupid. You spend money and you help people have babies. It's the last thing you want to do is import a bunch of people will never fit in.
Well, this is to destroy the country, so you can't
No.
have a strong Japan. And Shinzo had to die because he was the only one that returned was it vaccine doses? Was it 4 million of them?
Oh yeah, yeah. He did.
Shinzo was the only guy who did that. 2021.
Yeah, yeah.
Shinzo had to die.
Well, the Yakuza will come back and
Oh yeah.
they'll
They
beat you to death with chopsticks if they need to.
and they'll be popular again. Yeah, and yeah. So yeah, this will not work out well. But yeah. Uh dude, it's already 12:30. We gotta speed up. Sorry, I'm talking my ass off. Let's just speed up because we gotta look at earnings. All right. Uh, we got US oil BS happening, and of course they'll run this disaster and scare up domestic prices for us at the pump. Okay. And then President Biden has also exclaimed that he's not going to refill the strategic petroleum reserve. But let's look at the inventories. Where are we? Okay, we're at 361.9 million barrels of oil. What's capacity? 727. Okay. It hasn't been filled since '09. Oh my gosh. We're so toast. Oh my God, we're screwed. Okay. Okay. So that's that. Let's pivot to gold silver ratio really quickly is 83.4. Silver's finally making some moves. Gold is still setting all-time highs. Gold miners are finally catching up, and so are silver miners in a big way. And let's look at other alternative investments, such as the tax dodges for the sub-dial watch index from Bloomberg. Let's go to this. I believe this figure was at the $50,000 mark last time, and it's decreased to 33. We need a better chart. Yeah, but yeah, it's gone down. So I think there's more room to fall. We haven't reached the floor price yet, but at some point, Warren does grab a stack of hundreds and goes out buying Rolexes. And you're welcome to join. I'll let you guys know when that happens. All right, cool. Zimbabwe launches a new go-back currency. We'll see how long this lasts. And Zimbabwe had the worst hyperinflation on the planet at one point, so that's interesting. And then Costco having a great time selling gold, and they moved $100 million worth of gold. We can calculate their margins really easily. Let me think. Premiums are about 3.8%. I'd figure Costco moves volume, so they are getting half of that. So let's just say 1% net. So what's net of 100 million? 1 million, I guess, net profit. It's not a big deal, but it's almost a loss leader practically, but it does show substantial interest. So yeah. Okay. But yeah, it's cool that Costco's selling this. All right. And yeah, as we mentioned again, China wants to catch in on the crypto frenzy here because they desperately need to steal some money, and they're out. Like China is in decimation. I know we talk about it to death, and I sound like a broken record, but China is in dire straits. So yeah, let's shift to the rest of Chinese news. All right, so let's start with the stock market. It's lost a couple of points from its recent peak of 3080s and 3070s, but for the most part, functionally, it's basically a frozen market. There's very limited short selling. Most derivatives are fairly controlled, and the market has been flat at the 3000 mark, relatively speaking, for over 15 years. This is not like the Nifty 50 of India whatsoever. The Chinese have just been plundering the nation, starting with the stock exchange to no end. So that's that. Let's look at the RMB rate really quick. It was 7.23. Yeah, it's still fairly constant. Okay. All right, let's jump into the news. There was a nice like summary, like a 1.5 hour summary that I watched. But the shadow banking side is collapsing, and people are clawing back salaries and wages and commissions. It's crazy. Um, and in terms of M2 money supply, China is basically it's grown 23-fold from the year 2000 to today, and it's about 3x its GDP. And no matter how much more they increase M2, GDP is not moving anymore. So China's toast functionally. And then, as we mentioned earlier, China has a gold registration that they started to deter theft. And that's just hilarious to me. But yeah. And then what are our thoughts here from Flav? When Costco's database gets hacked, they will know all the addresses of these gold buyers. Yeah, those will be great home robberies because you'll know they have bulk toilet paper in supply as well. So yeah. Cool. What else? After Janet Yellen. So yeah, just to chime in on what happened with her. Um, she basically went there to rebuke China and wanted to basically stress that China needs to not assist North Korea and Russia with material or with funds. And that was like her main mission. I don't know why they had to send her. This could have been an email, obviously, but um, yeah. And then right after this, China's talking to the Russian ambassadors, like immediately after solidarity. So clearly, It's Gambit declined from Queen Treasury herself. So yeah, and Janet Yellen's key statement was to avoid a second China shock. And China shock number one was when they joined the World Trade Organization back in, was it 97 or 99, and eliminated 2 million American jobs. Like, this is a bullshit figure. It's probably 20 million, but sure. Yeah. And then China's a little freaked that America's pushing back against them buying up copious amounts of American farmland and are going to Brazil instead. And we mentioned this earlier already. And then China got caught paying protest crisis actors. No surprises there. And this is the shadow bank that I mentioned earlier as well, that's now asking all of its employees except janitors and door staff to return their salaries and commissions and bonuses. It's insane, unheard of, never been done before, and criminal actions will result if they don't return their funds. So that's just hilarious to me. But my own cousin would be caught in this. I unfortunately haven't talked to, again, I don't talk to the family. So I do have an older cousin who did work for a bank, and he's definitely in this bucket. Like, he's screwed. But yeah, not my problem. Should have bought gold like his other cousin.
Mm.
But yeah. Oh, final. Okay, we're out of time. Let's jump to earnings. But before that, let's run our final poll and see how we feel about the market now. Okay, so you should see our poll, and let me stop meanwhile.